So 3 years you didn't have a break at all?
No. Didn't have one day off for 3 years.
Not one day off?
No, not one day off for 3 years. Yeah.
It's hard.
It was grueling.
Așadar, o adresă, un nume de cod a devenit cunoscută pe toată planeta. I was just thinking with my Romanian thoughts.
No, man, we're going to say what we want, you know, and that helped. I think that helped because all the bands at the time, they were all like, you can bring them home to your mother, you know, the girls can bring them home to their mother would love them, you know, not E17. I remember we went on tour, and the front page of the Sun newspaper, which is the main newspaper in England that sell the most, it was, lock your daughters up, E17 are on tour, you know, it's like, that's the kind of press we got. I probably had one really bad downside where, I become homeless.
You?
Point. Yeah, I become homeless. I'd kind of split up with my wife, and I'd moved to. We was only meant to split up for about 6 months.
It was very long time
I've
ago.
never cancelled one show in 31 years. I've never cancelled one show.
31,
really? Yeah, 31 years.
31 years, never cancelled one show.
Dragi prieteni, astăzi la MagicLife e o bucurie, practic e primul interviu pe care îl fac cu un artist străin, un artist care are, de fapt sunt mai mulți, au început 4, acum sunt 3 membri în formație, vor fi pe scenă în seara asta. E o bucurie pentru mine să vorbesc cu ei, pentru că noi, eu și ei, am început în același an, 1991. Ei au izbucnit pe planeta muzică, din Marea Britanie venind, în 1991, anul în care eu am câștigat prima emisiune la Radio Contact. Doamnelor și domnilor, e o onoare și o bucurie pentru mine să vi prezint pe 2 dintre cei 3, East 17. Aici este Terence, unul dintre primii membri ai trupei. Terry, thank you so much. O să fie așa, un interviu în romgleză, mai traduc, mai povestesc. And Joe, the youngest, you're the youngest, is it?
I'm the youngest.
You're the youngest. Thank you very much.
He's still quite old though.
Nearly 40.
He looks really young, but
he looks not more than 30.
When Joe first joined the band, we said he was our son.
These were my dads.
We've got our son on stage.
Great. So we started together. I just mentioned, as I said, the interview will be half Romanian, half English. Doesn't matter. People should understand your story.
Yeah, that's cool.
So we started together in 1991. You actually explode on the stage in 1992 with that Waltham Stowe. It's
album, yeah.
The album containing the Stay Another Day, which is, I thought is a Christmas song, but it's not.
No, it's not a Christmas song.
I want to hear the story. When did you start it? How did you choose music?
Music, I always loved music, so from a very young age, in the 80s I was into break dancing and into rap music in the 80s, and then it kind of went on, when break dancing kind of fizzled out a little bit, it went into more sort of a bit street dancey, and I used to go to under 16 clubs, and me and my friends used to like do the dance routines, synchronized dance routines, and so we'd have little battles with other groups of kids. And
you started dancing, not singing.
No, I started dancing, but I could always rap. Because I was into rap music from like 8 years old, so I could always rap. I kind of learnt how to sing when I was in the band as time went along. But yeah, so yeah, the love of music kind of come through dancing and stuff like that. So we used to kind of hang around this derelict block of flats, and in the beginning Tony and John was older than me and Brian, and but there was all different age groups that we used to hang around this this block of flats. And then Tony knew I could dance, and he was the same age as my sister. So yeah, he approached me and he said, "Oh, would you like to be in a band?" And I said, I'd love to, because I
There was a fashion at the beginning of the night. There were new kids on the block. There were, and then later on, Backstreet Boys, NSYNC, and Over the Ocean. And the other side of the ocean, there were you, Take That, and Boyzone, and Westlife. And let's get back to the 90s.
Yeah, so he said, "Oh, do you want to be in a band?" I said, "Oh, I'd love to." And then I kind of went round, because Brian was my best friend, but he kind of didn't know Tony. I went round to Brian's house and knocked on his door and said, "I'm in a band," and he was like, "What? Did you ask if I could be in it?" I was like, "Well, no," but he's still round the corner. So if we go round there, we'll ask him together. And that's how it kind of happened, really. So Brian came in the band as a dancer.
Because he was a little bit surprised or jealous because you were and he wasn't?
He was. So he came in the band as a dancer. So I had to teach him how to do routines and stuff. So we had a little stereo, and I remember it was night time. We was underneath a lamppost, and we had the music playing on this little stereo, and we was dancing in the street because we was obviously young and didn't have money to book a dance studio. So we was learning dancing in the street, and we started recording, paying out of our own money, chipping in, going to cheap studios to get free backing tracks done, I think. And then
is there anyone that we know? Any one of these tracks that we know?
Yeah, Deep. Deep, House of Love, and I think...
House of Love, good.
Yeah, House of Love, Deep, and what was the other one? The other one would have been...
These were your songs, or you composed together?
Yeah, kind of composed together. Tony wrote the lyrics and the melody.
So they were your songs?
Yeah, they were our songs, yeah.
Okay.
And then the producer, I think Tony, because in the beginning, Tony was just learning how to play keyboards a little bit, but he'd learn the chords, and then we'd give it to a proper producer, and then he'd produce the track, because we was all quite young still. And yeah, we was in the studio, and Tony was trying to sing the choruses, and it weren't really sounding too great. He was a great rapper, and Brian was kind of just singing to himself in the corner, and we was like, "Oh, you have a go." And then Brian got on the mic and started singing, and we was like, "Right, yep, that's your job now."
Great.
And that's kind of how it started, really.
It was 91, 90?
That would have been 91, yeah.
Something like that.
Yeah, because we was recording. Yeah, we probably got together in 90.
How
91
old
we recorded.
were you by that time?
I was 16.
So you started to sing and to rap and to dance and to do all these things together at 16
no,
on a big
it was
stage.
earlier than that. But
Earlier than that.
When I joined East 17 was probably about 1990 when I was 16 years
Is
old.
East 17 a name or what is it?
A zip code.
A zip code.
Yeah, a zip code. Yeah.
Why
we
did you
we
took
all
this?
lived one road away from each other.
Okay.
It's the 17th borough of East London. So,
East London.
So
okay.
really it's E17, but abbreviated is East 17 because it's the 17th borough of East
So
London.
you guys were neighbours? And
Yeah,
the band?
neighbours, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
You literally, we could walk to each other's house in 2 minutes.
Great then. So, așadar, o adresă, un nume de cod a devenit cunoscută pe toată planeta. I was just thinking with my Romanian thoughts. And you, Practic, became famous when you started to sing. What was the first gig, the first single, the first...
First single was House of Love.
House of Love.
And I remember we'd done, you obviously know Radio 1.
Okay.
The radio station in England, Radio 1, one of the biggest stations.
It still is one of the biggest.
One of the biggest.
Even if you guys have Magic.
The Magic's amazing.
Of course.
But yeah, we'd done a Radio 1 road show, and that was our very first show. And it was quite strange, really, because Robbie, who's coming here now, driving here now, he was on that same show as a solo artist. So how much
Really?
now he's in E17? Yeah, he was on that same show.
30 years later.
30 years later,
Joining you.
he's done. Yeah, so he was on the very first show, and I remember Tony, because it was all live on the radio. But Tony swore down the mic. You can't swear down the mic. Me and Brian done this dance routine, messed it up, and bumped into each other on stage, and it was just. And our manager had one of his friends kind of manage us as well. And he was crying backstage, going, "Oh, it's a disaster. They're never going to make it. It's like it's over before it started," type thing. And went on to have great success.
Now it's time to hear something about Joe. When you appeared in the band, when? How did you?
4 years ago.
4 years ago. Okay. How?
Yeah.
What
So
happened?
my background, originally I was a gymnast in the British team. Then I was a breakdancer, and I toured the world and did quite well in the breakdancing scene. And at the same time I did stunts in movies and
Really?
adverts.
Who did you double? Who you were stunting for?
I've doubled Elijah Wood in a film called Green Street.
Really?
Yeah, it's like an English football hooligan film. I've been in Harry Potter.
When you was teaching Daniel Radcliffe some MMA, weren't you?
Really?
Some boxing, yeah.
Some boxing after backstage.
Backstage, yeah.
It's serious what you say. You work with Daniel Radcliffe.
Yeah, so I was in the third Harry Potter movie, and I'm flying a broomstick in the Quidditch. I get hit by lightning, and the character that I was playing was called Cedric Diggory. And in the next film, he's a main character. But because it was just a sort of a background part in this film, and I was doing stunt, they said, "Oh, can you do this?" I said, "Yeah." And they said, "Oh, you've done such a good job. In the next film, we're in talks with a new actor, but if he doesn't sign, the part's yours." And I was like, "Oh, yeah."
And they signed, and of course he signed.
The actor was Robert Pattinson. And
Robert Pattinson,
and he
of course.
signed. He did a great job, but we've still got beef.
But you're now part of the East 17
Absolutely, yeah.
band, and that's great. Okay, so 4 years ago, how it happened? What happened?
We had a mutual contact that knew that the guys were looking for a new member, and they contacted me and said, "Let's send your stuff off." And
John left. One of the other originals left because he's I don't know. He just had a baby with his girlfriend. And he just didn't want to do it no more. So I thought we're going to carry on with the name, keep the name out there as a legacy type thing.
Of course.
And we kind of had a mutual friend, Richard Smith.
Yeah.
And yeah, we actually, because it had to be done really quick, because John kind of only give us like 2 or 3 weeks, and I think we had 3 people. We was going to look at and see how they were.
How he qualified
I
to be that
contacted you
one.
on the last day, wasn't it? I think you were about to sign someone like the next day.
Yeah.
And
And?
I drove down and met the guys late at night, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was
down
late at
Robbie's?
night, around Robbie's house, and we was literally like, we had a chat, and I said, "Look, can you do this?" And showed a few E17 dance routines, and he done it straight away. And
we just had a good time, didn't we? We all got on really well.
Yeah, we all got on really well.
That was it, we just clicked.
Of course, it's your job to do these things.
But you never kind of know how he's going to, how things are going to fit in. Because to be fair, Joe, he's done loads of things for TV and stuff like that, but he's never really held a mic in his hand or done stuff like that.
That was new to me.
That was new to
holding
Joe.
A microphone.
So yeah, it was always kind of like, you have to see it as a trial basis to see how well performed. But do you know what? He's absolutely smashed it out of the park. We've got a new single out. He's rapping on it, and he sounds really good on it. And it's, to be fair, I think with Joe's, especially with gymnastics, you have to be so disciplined to get to the top. And like I said, Joe was in the British national team as a youngster, so the dedication, we all know it's brilliant, because
the discipline first.
The discipline is
course.
brilliant, because you'll always get someone in the band that turns up late all the time, does this or doesn't turn up, and it's harder. The older you get, it's harder, because people have obviously got more. You're not so disciplined because you're older. When you're younger, you're like, I want this to work, and everyone like. But it works so perfectly, if we've got a little bit of a cold or whatever, we'll still turn it, because we don't want to let people down.
So he's actually a star. He was a star before coming to East 17. He does stunts for the movie he mentioned before.
Yeah.
He was in the national British gymnastics team, national team as a teenager, as a junior or something.
Yeah.
So
7 to 17.
Okay, so you were a rising star when you came to this huge band.
He was a star, now he's becoming an icon.
Okay, great.
Big head now.
Okay.
Let some air out.
The thing is that you are having so much fun. Is how it works being in a band, in a boy band, in a boy doing music these days, when looks like any computer, any terminal can do music. How hard it is?
Do you know what? It's not very hard. It's not very hard at all, because we manage ourselves. Yeah, we do our own bookings. We've got a strong family kind of connection with a label. We've got same with our PR agency. They've become it's friends. It's not work. It's like, it's just so easy.
I'm going to ask you something.
The reason why it's easy, because me, Robbie, and Joe all think alike.
Yeah.
and that's what makes it easy.
We're all dedicated, aren't we?
We're all on the same page. When it becomes hard is when someone ain't, you know, or if someone's got a problem, an alcohol problem or a drug problem, or that's when it becomes hard, because that's when they start letting down the side. None of us will let E17 down, because it's all important to us all.
Yeah.
And this is why I think I believe in energy and karma and stuff like that. And this is why I think it's excelled for us as a band, because the energy, we've all got the same energy that we give off. You know what I mean? There's no arguing. There's no, you know, everything's positive. We have a good time.
Besides doing music and lots of sports and gymnastics and everything, you mentioned a word which is very, very important. It's called family.
Yes.
When did you start it? When did you meet your wife?
Well, in about 1924.
Okay.
I've gone through two divorces.
And?
I've got 6 children.
6?
Yeah, 6 children.
Right.
So
the oldest is?
28.
28
Yeah,
years.
28. And she was my first wife. I married her very young. I met her in Sweden on tour. She actually sung "It's My Life." You know, "It's My Life."
Really?
Yeah, the woman vocalist on it.
It's Dr. Alban's song.
Yeah, Dr. Alban's song. Yeah, the woman vocalist on it.
It was last year on We Love Music Festival.
Was my first
really?
wife. So I had 2 children with her, and then my children moved back to Sweden with her in the 90s, when I was about, I think, 5 and 3. And then I had another child, whose mum passed away with cancer. She's 17 now. So I think when she was about 8, her mum passed away. And now I'm with the girl now, which I've got 3 children with, which are 6, 4 and 7 months. So Lucy I'm with now.
So you're dad of a 28 beautiful girl and a son of 7 months?
A baby
another,
girl. Yeah, my son's 4-year-old. Yeah, I've got 5 girls and 1 boy.
5
my little
girls
boy's
and 1
4-year-old.
boy. I thought the youngest is the boy. No, I was wrong. Sorry. So you're father of 28 years and 7 months?
I know, I'm crazy. I know.
No, I didn't say that. I didn't say that. It's so beautiful.
7-month-old.
You will never get old.
Yeah, we was on tour at Christmas, and we was just about to go on stage, and my fiance, she was down the hospital, like, because the contractions came on, and she brought her sister with her. So we were literally 2 minutes, we're waiting by the stage, and I get a FaceTime on my phone, and I opened up the FaceTime, and the baby was there. I was like, whoa. Is that mine?
Beautiful.
And then I watched her sister, just before we went on stage, I watched her sister cut the cord. Yeah. Because she said, "Is that okay for my sister to cut it?" And I went, "Well, I'm not going to be back for a week, so unless you can hold the baby for a week."
Could you sing? Could you dance? Could you do anything?
I was excited. As soon as I went on stage, I went, "I just had a baby." And yeah. I think we was playing in Chichester, weren't we?
Colchester.
We was playing in Colchester. Yeah. And I said, "I've just named the baby Colchester."
No. What is her name?
Sienna.
Sienna, beautiful.
Yeah, Sienna.
Beautiful. There's a CD in Italy, and there's a very beautiful actress.
Yeah, my last 3 kids' names are all Italian. We've got Sienna, Leo, and Bella. So.
Beautiful. So you have something Latin somewhere.
Yeah.
Okay, let me hear about your family, Joe.
I've got 2 boys. They're 9 and 13, and it's his birthday today. So I've got to say happy birthday to my oldest son.
Give him a huge hug.
And yeah, I've got a baby on the way as well.
Really?
Yeah, we're expecting a little girl in January.
So you're nervous?
Might have twins, Joe.
You know, we've checked because my partner is an identical twin, so we did have to make sure we checked it in the scans. Just is there 1 or 2 in there?
3 or 4.
So there's only 1.
So yeah, we're expecting a little girl.
Brilliant! Oh, you're so lucky. As I said, I'm sure that people who receive these kind of gifts, because kids are gifts.
Yeah,
they will never get old.
We're all family men, and Robbie's,
we
are
all family men. Yeah, Robbie's got a son and a daughter.
Yeah,
and that's what I think. Keeps our feet on the ground as well. Because and it's brilliant to do this job is amazing, because we get to be family men in the week. So school runs, changing nappies, making breakfast.
And then became
if we had
huge star in weekends.
Yeah, and then it's like going away on a boys' holiday at the weekend. So we get a bit of fun.
Yeah.
So, but it's amazing because if we had normal jobs like 9 to 5, we wouldn't really see our kids. So we'd probably see them for a couple of hours of an evening
in the afternoon,
and then go away at the weekend. So we get to spend every day, 5 days a week, 24 hours a day.
They come to the gigs, don't they? If we're local gigs, we can bring the kids and they watch us. Or we bring them up. You had Leo on stage the other week.
Yeah.
I had Seth and Soul up there recently.
Let's get back to music a little bit.
Yes.
So, Romanian public audience know you for 2 or 3 songs. They were played on heavy rotation on the radio stations in the 90s. It's Stay Another Day. I said that we all thought it's a Christmas song, but it's not, and I want to hear the story. There's All Right, of course, everybody knows. All right, everything's gotta be okay. Are you going to play the song tonight?
Yes, we are, yeah.
I look forward to scream.
You come up on stage and dance with us.
No, come on.
Come on.
I will introduce you, and then I'll stay in a corner dancing with you. Okay?
That's what you think.
And there's also this House of Love, but I didn't know that it was your first gig,
Yes,
first
it was.
single.
And do you know what? I think House of Love, when you listen, the lyrics are quite really timeless, because when you listen to the lyrics now, it's relevant to what's going on now in the world. Even though it was relevant what was going on back then in 1992, it was a little bit. It weren't, about, we don't want war, we want peace and love, and, everyone should get on, and, we're all human at the end of the day. We all bleed red blood, you know what I mean? And yes, it's sad really to know that this day and age, what's going on is going on, really, with the technology advances what we have.
We will speak about this. Are you guys afraid of what the artificial intelligence is doing? You probably know the story of Drake, who didn't sign a song, but he did I don't know.
It sounded exactly like him, and yeah, I saw Donald Trump music video the other day.
Okay.
He was doing a rap.
Of course. What else? Let's get back to the 90s. You were in the 90s. Joe wasn't part of the team, but you
Joe
were
was still at school.
Yeah, he was part of the national gymnastics team by that time.
Yes, he was. Yeah.
Okay, so you were practically one of the best bands in the world in the 90s. There was, and I don't say it. It's if you Google, you'll find this. How it was that time, the life for you?
It was great. It was new. It was very fast paced. Working 7 days a week for 3 years, kind of in a bubble, but kind of enjoying it at the same time. It was a lot of promo. I respect to any band that's big, because especially back then, because you didn't have the internet, you didn't have anything like YouTube or social media to help you. You literally had to go out there, do them interviews, do them photo shoots. Do TV, do radio, and when you weren't doing it in the UK, you was doing it in Europe, in Romania, in Germany, in Australia. We'd done a tour in America. So yeah, it was very, when you're young, your body can handle it. Even though we did get ill, we did get run down. But your body can handle it as a youngster, to do all that now.
So 3 years you didn't have a break at all?
No, didn't have one day off for 3 years.
Not one day off?
No, not one day off for 3 years. Yeah.
It's hard.
It was grueling.
What helped you?
And it was a lot of...
What helped you? What did you do?
Probably at the time, marijuana, to be honest with you.
Really?
Probably, yeah, at the time, yeah. We was young. Yeah, it helped a lot. But we was classed as the bad boys of pop.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Yeah, everybody said that you were the bad boys, but you don't look like bad boys. Besides the tattoos and everything else.
Yeah, no. Do you know what?
It was an image, or you were bad by the time.
We were just street kids, really. We weren't really bad boys, but we got in trouble in the UK with the police growing up. You know what I mean? But doing silly things, not robbing people or being horrible to people, but just doing stupid things, really, as a youngster. But yeah, just it was just that it was kind of like, you know, I remember our manager saying to us right at the beginning, before the first single, you can't say you smoke cigarettes, you can't say you've got girlfriends, you can't, and we was like, no man, we're going to say what we want, you know, and that helped. I think that helped, because all the bands at the time, you know, they were all like, you can bring them home to your mother, you know, the girls can bring them home to their mother, the mother would love them, you know, not E17. I remember we went on tour, and the front page of the Sun newspaper, which is the main newspaper in England that sold the most, it was, lock your daughters up, E17 are on tour, you know, it's like, that's the kind of press we got. But it was good, because when you could get a lot of aggro from the public when you're a youngster, but because we had kind of had that persona of being a bad boy, people kind of left you alone a bit, you know?
I think that also helped with that image, helped with not just having a female audience, because you had that bad, because I remember growing up,
yeah,
I didn't like boy bands, I wasn't into that.
Why? Because all the fan base, there were girls.
Yeah,
or what?
It was in the Spice Girls.
It all felt like,
if you want my future, or get my best.
Yeah, for women. But then E17 had that image that was, you know, I remember thinking, actually, I like some of their songs. They're all right, though. Like,
yeah,
you're allowed to like a bit of their stuff.
You could actually, yeah. There's so many guys around the world that says, mate, I loved your stuff. Not just white guys, black guys that are into like rap and hip hop, and you know, all over the world. And if you look at it, on our Spotify, we've got an app, Spotify for artists. Every artist will have it, which gives you the demographic of, you know, gender that listen to your music, what countries are downloading your music the most, what cities around the world are downloading.
Of course, you know all these things.
You get the whole demographic on Spotify when you're an artist and you download the Spotify for artists on how your music is selling. And there's actually more guys listening to it. 51% male, 49% women.
Okay, it's quite close.
It's quite close, but still,
correct.
You know, there aren't a lot of pop bands, boy bands out there with that demographic of
correct. Yeah, that's right. I never thought like that, because I listen to music, I don't care who's singing. When I'm going live or I'm watching it, because now music is not only the thing that tickles your ear.
Yeah.
Music is multimedia.
Yeah.
You have to see, you have to feel, you have to, you know. But the thing is that when we started, the music was just music. That's it. And the idea of you being in festivals, in that kind of retro kind of festival, even if you do today music and you have a new single, are you going to play tonight?
Yes.
What do you think it's unfair for a band with so much experience? Are you guys played on the radios today with your new single?
No, not really.
Why?
Not really.
What do you think? What's the explanation?
I think Pink, the artist Pink, went through this thing, especially in England. She was like, you know, why when you get over
I mean, Alicia Moore, Pink, the singer,
the
she's
artist,
huge.
Yeah. But she had a problem with not getting on mainstream radio, and this big thing came out in the UK. I'm not sure if it came out around the world.
But now Trustful is everywhere.
But yeah.
Okay.
Now she is getting played on the radio because she kind of won it, and it was. But they just I don't know.
You
it's
have
weird
time
because
to wait?
It's mad because when you're younger and you're up there, you know, everyone wants to play, and then, you know, you start getting older, and they kind of put you on to Radio 2 instead of Radio 1. You kind of go on to Radio 2. That's the format in the UK. You go on to Radio 2 where they play the older artists, and then the younger generation artists get played on your Capital Radio and But we kind of like to keep. There's a lot of 90s artists out there doing 90s music still, and we don't like to do that. We like to keep up with music fashion.
Of course.
Because I think it's important to keep up with what's happening now.
Correct.
If you can do
to
that as an
update
artist.
yourself, updating.
Yeah, so, you know, our new single was done by, what's his name?
Tiesto's.
Yeah, one of Tiesto's
Tiesto, the DJ.
Yes.
Yeah.
One of his producers produced the backing track of our new song. And,
I look forward to hearing it.
And we then took it, wrote all the melodies, the lyrics and stuff like that over the top of it. But yeah, I think it's important. You don't really get a lot of support
It's because of the age, of course. It
is because of the age. But I'm quite lucky, really, because I never upset anyone 30 years in the music industry. So, there's still support out there.
I'm going to ask you something. Please don't be angry, but answer as sincere as you can. Did it ever cross your mind to leave the field? To stop? To quit? Never.
This is being honest, I'm being honest here. I've always loved music, always loved being in it, and the only reason I've ever wanted to... So if you're putting in 100% and then someone else ain't putting in that 100%, and someone's like constantly like letting the side down, letting the team down, I've only wanted to step away from kind of that person. I wanted to carry on, but step away from that person, because to me this is a dream job. It's a job. Yeah, my head's never been big over this job, but it's a dream job to me. And there's been times where the band hasn't been together, and I've gone out and I've done a normal job to feed my family.
What? What did you do?
All different jobs. I've done all different. I'm roofing.
Really?
Yeah, putting roofs on people's houses. But you've got to do...
Even if you were the guy who invented the 17 band, you were doing different jobs?
No, I wasn't the guy that invented these 17. We kind of all invented it together. But yeah. If I need to earn money to feed my children, I'll do whatever. Because
that's what only a father can say that.
Yeah.
Correct.
And I've done it. I've done that. So I never want to mess this up, because this is the dream job,
But the thing is that you didn't want to quit because of you. Just because it was a wrong situation, a strange situation.
I've always wanted to quit due to other people in the band.
Okay.
Not because of me, because I absolutely love it.
It was a very long time ago.
I've never cancelled one show in 31 years. I've never cancelled one show.
Really?
Yeah, 31 years.
31 years, never cancelled one show.
And the only reason a show, we might have never have turned up to a show, I think it's happened once since our lineup, is because we literally couldn't get there because there was airport strikes.
It wasn't because of you. It was because
we were stuck in another country. We literally couldn't get on the plane, and that was only one show.
That's promotable. What you just mentioned. That's something.
Yeah, that's part of success. Continuity. Basically, being nice to everyone, and doing a good job. But continuity, which is being,
we just turn up, do the job every time.
Everyone
knows they can rely on us. We love what we do.
We don't ask for a lot backstage. Just a bottle of vodka, some Red Bulls, and a couple of beers. That's all we need. Some other bands are like, I want flowers here, there.
Champagne,
promoters are like, oh, this is a nightmare. Champagne.
Black towels.
And then what they do is they get their security to take all the drink away. And you shouldn't be doing that. That drink is for the night, for your night. You shouldn't be taking all the drink home. You're getting paid to do the job. You should just have the drink. That's for the night, not to take home and drink all month.
That's correct. Because the show, it's called MagicLife. I want you to tell me what is magic for you. And I'll start with Joe, but because I talked very much to you. Joe, define the magic. What is magic for you? Besides your two sons. In general. How do you feel? Okay, Christmas time, of course. That's magic.
I think, recently I've been making sure I'm recognising what's special in everything. And it's like keeping that positive mindset, and even the little things. We're walking down the street, and you're like, I live by the sea, and
really,
I've always lived by the sea, and I love it. And living there, it's very easy to sort of just forget how special it is, and you remember that actually people that live inland travel down to where I live for a holiday, and it's easy to forget that. And you're walking along somewhere, you think, oh, it's lovely, it's sunny, and I go down the beach, and I'm like, I live here. This is special. Days with the kids and that, you look at them laughing, growing up. This is special.
Paddleboarding the other day.
Paddleboarding, yeah. And I play golf with my dad once a week.
Your dad is also that sporty like you?
Yeah.
It's a family figure.
70, yeah, and we play golf every week. My mum came paddleboarding the other day.
Really?
So especially that family stuff, really special. But it's just everything. And even on stage sometimes we're doing our job, And then it's, I don't know, like halfway through the gig, I look out and I think, I love this. How did I get to be here? And you've got to take that in and think, I really appreciate everything. So that's magic. I think everything, appreciation for life.
So nice what you just said.
Happen for a reason, I think.
Yeah, correct.
Yeah.
But the thing that you need to be mature to understand that.
Yeah, definitely.
Because when we were 20, we didn't understand that.
No, definitely not.
But now he said something very nice. Everything that comes to you, it's a gift.
I think
Enjoy it.
Everything is magic. It's learning to realize it and be grateful for every little thing, because there's so much. Even this is lovely. What a great setup. Well, you know, it's lovely to meet you.
Do you know what? You've just hit the nail on the head. It's being grateful for things you have, you know, because there's a lot of, mate, you've only got to look at things going on in the world, and you know how families are being ripped apart.
That's so nice. I feel like crying.
Yeah,
you guys are so big but so normal.
Yeah.
So usual. So okay, let's get back to the magic. Okay, besides what Joe said before, do you add anything to magic?
Yeah. Basically what Joe said, really. I think just to be appreciative. You know, it's like what Joe said, you know, when you think about it, really, we're not really on the planet for that long, really. Oh. You know, time goes so far. And as you get older, you know, when you was younger, you always heard people older going, God, as you get older, time goes faster. And it does, it really does, especially when you have kids, because you see that the children just grow up so quick. And, I think it's just kind of embracing things, you know. Life is hard anyway.
It is, but it's also magic.
Yeah, it is. It is magic, and it's being appreciative of, you know, people around you, and you know, we are so appreciative of what we do, and feel we're so lucky as well. You know, to be able to travel the world just on its own. You know, without having the greatness of performing on stage, travel the world and see how different countries are, see different cultures and try different food, and
correct.
You know, I've got people I know from school that hasn't even really gone anywhere out of the UK, you know.
Didn't go out of England ever.
Yeah, and you know, if I was to, you know, pass away tomorrow or something, I've had a great life. I've had some amazing experiences, you know what I mean? You know, I don't want to pass away tomorrow. I want to live as long as I can.
Don't do that.
But, but you know, I'll keep you know, the hardest part of our job is the travelling side of it. You know, sometimes we've done like 8 flights in a weekend.
8 flights.
Yeah, 8 flights in one weekend. So that's the hardest part of it. But you know, once you're here and you know, mate, the weather it's like being on holiday, yeah. In England, it's rained all month, every day for a month. In July, it's like, you come over here, you're like, wow, sun. Straight away, you feel better, you know what I mean? So yeah.
So the key word is enjoying everything you get.
Yeah, enjoying everything you get.
I think identify it, realise it, and go, that's a good thing, and then appreciate it.
Brilliant.
And also, you know, I think the magic is, I always give homeless people money. I always do, you know what I mean? Even if I haven't got a lot of money at the time or whatever on me, I always give homeless people money, because I believe in also trying to give back as well. Give something back, you know what I mean? Because, mate, if someone needs to eat, man, if that was me on the street, I'd be so grateful if someone come along and give me £20 or whatever, you know. I could go out. I've had homeless people, and I never tell them who I am. I never say, oh yeah, just remember he's something. I never say anything like that.
Waving a camera in their face.
Yeah, I don't do any of that. I just say, look.
But did you do this gesture always?
I've done it always. I've done it always. Yeah, I've done it always.
Nice.
Because, mate, it's just, you know, sometimes I'll stand there and I'll talk to the people, and the homeless people, and I'll say, how did you become homeless? Hear their story.
Everyone
I know,
carries
and there's
story.
a lot of people on Instagram filming it and giving them, you know, answer me a question, I'll give you $500 and all, which I'm all for anyway, because $500 for an homeless person
something.
Can change their life, you know what I mean? It honestly can. You know, they could use it at £500, buy a suit, get a job.
But you prefer to
kinda
give him
goes on.
£20 without camera, without anything. And
Yeah. I don't tell him
just
who
for you.
I don't tell him who I am.
Correct.
Yeah, that makes me happy. I feel a little bit of magic in that.
I wanted to ask you, because, you know, we are living very strange, terrible times. Young people, they have their suffering. It's very often hear the word anxiety, mental
Big now.
situations. What did you do when you're down? What helps you to go up? How do you manage? Because I'm sure you had downs in your life.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, I have.
What helped you?
First thing, don't read the comment section on any post.
Yeah.
Never ever read the comment section. Good.
You know what? Believe in yourself. Surround yourself with the right people that lift you up and go. We're always honest. You go like, oh, is this? I mean, you didn't tell me how crinkly this T-shirt was today, actually. But no, we will say, no, I've got anything on my face, and we're honest, but we support each other. Oh, that was a good job, man. After every show, like, well done, guys, and we all appreciate that.
Yeah. And we're always, before the show, we'll do a fist bump like this all together. So have a good show, guys. And yeah, I've probably had one really bad downside where I become homeless at one point. Yeah, I become homeless. I'd kind of split up with my wife, and I'd moved to. We was only meant to split up for about 6 months, and I moved into like a shared house. It was a nice house. It had like electric gates. It was a big house, but I just rented a room because I thought I was going to get back with the girl. Who was my? I thought I was going to get back with my wife, and at that time, kind of, I was in the band with two of the other original members, and I brought one of the original members back into the band, and he came back in the band. I'm not mentioning no names. He came back in the band. He got all the publicity from the newspapers. Blah and blah from E17's back in E17, and then we wrote an album, and I wrote half of it, and he wrote half of it. And then we'd done a little German radio tour, and everything was going really well. And then all of a sudden, one of the other band members said to me, "Oh, he's writing out in Belgium. He's going solo." And I was like, "No, he's not going solo. I've just brought him back in the band. He's probably writing for someone else or just doing some writing." And he was like, "No, he's writing. He's going solo." And I went, "No, we've only just got a record deal." And so the record deal we got, the label was giving us a retainer each month, like paying us once a month to survive, pay our bills and everything like that. And then the record label called a meeting, and right at the end of the meeting, the record label said, because he was like, "Everyone loves your album, you're going here, you're going to Italy, you're going blah, 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 all over the place. Everyone loves it." And then right at the end of the meeting, the label went, "And blah, 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 he's bringing out a solo album next week." And I was like, What? I've just put all this time and effort into writing an album, and you're telling me he's bringing out a solo album next week? And then I knew what was going to go on. I knew that me and one of the other members was going to be kept on a retainer for 2 months. I just knew it. I just saw it all. And then it was going to end. And they were going to keep him on and then get rid of me and the other guy out of E17. And then I thought, hold on, I've brought him back in the band, and then he's done this to me. And it was out of order, really. And I became homeless because I couldn't afford. I went on a retainer.
For 6 months, not more, even less.
Probably I ended up staying around a friend of mine, an old school friend, took me into his house. He said, "Look, you can stay here to sort yourself out." But yeah, I ended up staying there, which was the wrong move, to be honest with you, because...
What helped you to get up? What? Yourself?
Another friend of mine.
Another friend. So you can't do it
alone. I moved into this old friend's house. I'm being totally honest with you now. I don't know if I should be, really, but I'm being totally honest. I moved into this friend's house, and he was just into drugs. Drugs. So I kind of got into that as well. And then I got so low, I prayed to God. Honestly, I had a little bit of a breakdown. I prayed to God, and I was like, I need to get out of here. I can't be here. But I had nowhere to go. And I was kind of stuck. I felt I was stuck there. And then I rang one of my friends, he's from New Zealand, that was living in the UK. And he always said, look, if you ever need help or anything like that, ring me. And I've never rang him for anything. I don't want to be a burden on anyone, you know what I mean? So I never rang him, and I thought, I need to get out of this environment. I have to. And I rang him, and he went, come stay with me. And he lived in this little village quite far away, but it was a tiny little village. It was a nice little place it was. And I went and lived with him, and I sorted my head out, and I started writing a book, and I started doing all these things, being really creative, started like designing a clothing brand and everything.
Keywords, nobody can stand up alone.
No.
You need a friend, someone. You need a human being to help you.
Yeah.
Even if you're doing yourself. But you need to be with someone.
Yeah, definitely. And that's
a very good lesson. It's a very good lesson.
Yeah, that's what got me out of that. And then, and then I was basically, the guy who was managing us, I was like, if this guy wants to go solo, I'm carrying on. Because it's always been me that's tried to get everyone together. It's always been me trying to push the E17 brand forward. It's always kind of been me, you know what I mean? So I was like, I'm carrying on. And I was ringing this guy up saying, mate, you need to sort something out, I'm going to carry on. And then Robbie Craig was a solo artist, Robbie in the band, and he said, oh, I might have a singer. He said Robbie Craig, and I thought brilliant, because I already had bought a couple of his records as a solo artist, so I knew his vocal ability.
He's known for being like one of the best voices.
Yeah, one of the best voices.
Really?
Yeah, he's known for that. And we met up and we just linked straight away. We connected straight away. And that's how it started with Robbie and stuff.
You
and
know,
then we got Joe
I don't know
involved.
who said that thing, when God closes a door, always opens a window.
Definitely.
So
definitely.
For sure, Rob is the window.
And it was like, right, I'm never going to mess this up, because I love this. And you know, like I said, when everyone's minds are alike, when you're in a team, you just, I think it brings things forward quick.
Did you guys argue? Did you guys fight for ideas, for music?
Who else?
Lot.
No, we never did. No. The old guys, there's a little bit of water under the bridge. Yeah.
There were wars. Yeah.
Yeah, the thing is, with the old guys, it was like, one of the old guys earned most of the money. You know.
There's always the money or the girls. The situation why the bands are fighting and splitting.
Yeah, do you know what?
There are
There's always
two reasons.
See, with me, my feet was always on the ground with E17, really. But yeah, I suppose there's always, not in this lineup. There's no jealousy at all in this lineup. But yeah, I think back in the day there was a lot of jealousy going on as well.
It's fight for power, probably.
There was that. There was fight for power. There was, fight for, you know, because in most bands the lead singer would mainly get most of the attention. In any band, Rolling Stones, Beatles.
Correct.
There's always the lead singer. But to me, it's always a job. When you see it as always a job, your feet are always on the ground, I think. When you see it as always as a job, your feet are always on the ground. When you try and think you're some sort of god, or, you know, if you're going to have problems, you know what I mean?
It's something I noticed when I joined the band. I'm thinking, okay, I'm the new guy. But you've got you and Robbie on stage, like, go on, get to the front. You're on the front on this bit, and then we'll swap round. And then, you know, making the last track, you composed a lot of it, and you're on it the least. And you're like, no, you have this rap, Robbie, you do this bit, and pushed everyone. Like, we all push each other forwards, as opposed to going, no, me first.
Yeah. No, that's all about me. That's all about me.
At the beginning, there were fight who's in front. Now there's no fight, but there's a little bit of push
we were
with the other
encouraging each
ones.
other.
Carrying
We
each
were
other.
encouraging each other.
Is this
to be at the
coming
front.
with experience and age and everything, or
Probably
it's
something a lot to do, isn't it?
I
Having
think
been through
it's a lot to do. But I also think it always boils down to people's personalities. It really does. It really boils down to people. And I think me and Joe and Robbie are quite similar, really, in our personalities, and that's why it works. I think on a spiritual level,
It's the right energy.
it's the right energy. Yeah.
I would ask you some. I have lots of things to ask you, but there's a few minutes left, and I would like to know how do you define? How do you think should be someone who comes to see you in front of the stage? How I mean, the spirit, the free. How do you prefer the audience? Screaming or listening or doing the things you say?
Just come and just let go, enjoy yourself. Come and just have a really good time. Yeah,
You've been many times.
Express your freedom, mate. That's what I'd say. Express your freedom, man. When you come,
I would say come with an open mind, because there's something that obviously people that saw E17 back in the day remember the original lineup, and they were fantastic. It's different now, and sometimes, and a lot of people still don't even know that. And we get on stage and they're going, their phone like Google up, and they're like, well, okay, which one? And sometimes you can see it, maybe not many, because everyone seems to accept it now. Yeah. But you get like maybe one or two people, and they see them, and they're like, "You're not the original person. I'm not going to enjoy this." And then by the end of the first song, the body language changes a bit, and then a couple of songs in, they're like, "Yeah," and then they're singing. Then they're singing the lyrics, and then they're clapping along to the new track. And at the end, they come up to us and they go, "Oh wow, I didn't expect to enjoy it.
Yeah.
You guys are incredible."
Yeah.
And that's the biggest compliment, I think, when you can change someone that was hard set. Nope. You know, and I've got appreciation for the band before and now, and I think it's nice when you can change someone. Do
you know, it's the same with me. And I really appreciate the time I spent with the other guys in the band. Like, we shared some great memories together, travelled the world. But, you know, as you get older, things do move on and stuff. And, you know, I'm loving this time now. The fact that there's no manager involved as well. Because, you know, our old manager, he weren't the best person in the world. Great at you know, making you successful, because I think he was part of that journey. But, you know, there was things about him that weren't so great. But we run our own destiny now, which is amazing, because we're all on the same page. You know, that destiny is just is getting bigger and bigger and bigger as every year goes by.
I wanted to know, because you've been in Romania many times, and even that, you look forward to see new people. Have you ever, I mean, okay, you've been 20 times or even more in Romania. Do you remember anything about this country when you come back? Do you make any connections?
I remember one very, very big connection with Romania. We came over and done a show in the mountains when Romania came into the EU.
Okay.
Yeah, so they'd just come into the EU. I remember it was New Year's Eve. It was about -30 because it was in the mountains. The president of Romania was watching us. And we came off stage, and I will never forget this. And I tell this in stories as well, like when I'm doing interviews and stuff. Like, even like old people that'd be kind of like my nan and granddad. They would go, he's 17, like going crazy, because we went to the barriers and we were signing stuff and having pictures after the show. He's 17. I remember me and one of the members at the time, we was like, this is crazy. Like, how do they know he's 17? And then when we spoke to the promoter, or we might have spoke to a couple of fans, they said, when the Iron Curtain was up in Romania and you had a curfew, the army was like, no, you have to be in at a certain time and you can't come back out into the morning at a certain time, and there weren't a proper government here. When the Iron Curtain came down and you had a government again, E17 was one of the first westernised bands to be played on radio. And
That's
to
correct.
me,
it was not 89, and then 2 years later you exploded on the market.
Yeah.
And as I said, I started to work on the radio station, and everything played by 17 was on the stage, on the station. We were playing everything. Doesn't matter, it was a slow song, it was Tay or Another Day, or it was Alright, or everything.
And I think the message as well in the songs, like I said, House of Love, you know, what a message in there. Especially, you know, at the time, I think there was a lot of stuff going on in Israel as well, with the Palestinians and stuff. And yeah, what a song and a message. No one was really doing that, you know, not giving that much of a message, you know. And I think with E17 as well, the whole look of the band, it was just different. it was different as well. There weren't, a lot of our influences were coming from American rap. So we've had the baggy clothes. Like my trousers used to be out here. I'm like,
really?
I just have a belt, and then
I thought it's because you wanted to look skinnier.
Yeah.
That's why you wear all that.
I was a
bigger
beanpole
clothes.
anyway back then, mate. I was really skinny. But yeah, no, it was like wear extra large jumpers and.
I was the same growing up because when I was breakdancing,
that's what you were breakdancing,
baggy, and we did the same thing, trying to shoelaces around the bottom of your things to pinch in at the bottom, and the rest of it's all. Yeah.
Lucky we don't wear that kind of clothes now. We're comfortable in what we wear.
But yeah, I've loved the whole journey. Obviously, there's been ups and downs. Not for the last, since Joe's joined.
4 or 5 years.
Since I've worked with Robbie, there hasn't really been ups and downs. But yeah, before that there was ups and downs. But yeah, very grateful. And like I said, God acts in strange ways sometimes.
Please give me an advice.
For the good.
Because people are watching. There's a study for last year, I think, in United States and now in Europe, the online production is more watched than the regular TV station, the on-air production. So there are lots of people enjoying this kind of interviews and shows, doing custom-made in a small areas and very close.
Yeah.
Give me. What's the most valuable advice you received or you learned in your 50 years of being on stage and being on live and being everywhere?
What's the most valuable thing?
I've got something.
To enjoy it, really. Enjoy it. Don't, mate, from when you stop enjoying it, don't do it, man. Don't do it just for the money, man, because like it's never going to work out. It's never going to work out for you.
Monies are important.
Money's important, yeah.
Okay.
You don't get me wrong. Everyone needs money to eat. Yeah, it's necessary. But I think in this job as a performer, when you stop enjoying it, find another career, man, because like, no, honestly, because the enjoyment, there's just something special about the energy, you know what I mean? Performing to a load of people singing your song, that's just like an energy on its own, you know what I mean? Like that must give off a powerful energy. Because I say, when you pray, it's meant to be quite powerful. But if you was to pray, a lot of people about the same thing, apparently the energy you give off, power praying it's called, the energy you give off is tenfold to just you doing it on your own. But doing it on your own is powerful. But yeah, just
enjoy it.
Enjoy it.
I think another piece of advice that sort of resonates with me is about not worrying about everyone else and trying to fit into a mould. Be yourself.
Be yourself, yeah. And
because everyone's different and no one can be you better than you. So it doesn't matter if what you're doing isn't as good as that person that does that. That person isn't going to be able to do what you do as good as you do it. So don't worry about that. Don't listen to the negativity.
Stop comparison.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And do what you do to the best of your ability, and you will stand out.
Yeah, you're right, mate, because there's a lot of people on Instagram and social media that want this Insta life. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? There's a lot of fake people on there.
Real.
Yeah, there's a lot of fake people that you know, this is why I think kids get anxiety. I think social media is a big part of that, of anxiety, because they want to be...
Are your kids having time? I mean, limited time to stay online?
I can't get my 17-year-old off her phone. She's just like that. She's going to end up growing a hunchback. Like, she trying to get off. I have to say to her, like, at the dinner table, can you put down your phone for 15, 20 minutes while we're eating? Like, it's just constantly like, but I think it gives kids anxiety as well, because looking at an LED screen is not good for you.
So you have
anyway.
rules about this? Are your kids leaving the phones outside the kitchen?
Well, not too many rules, because she don't talk to me. She's at that age. If I'm like, well, I'm taking your phone away for 2 days, she'll be like,
I'm going to make you suffer.
Yeah, I'm going to make you suffer.
Do you have rules?
But that's life now, isn't it?
Yeah, I know.
You do have to move on with the technology.
Yes, we have exactly the same situation, and I want to learn from you, because I don't know. it looks like you have a little bit more experience. It
Well, I
looks
don't
like.
know. I think everyone's always learning.
Correct.
You know, everyone's so different. You know,
nothing's ever gonna finish.
all my kids are so different from each other. You know, it's just I think that's why we're here on Earth, to learn, just to keep learning about things. It's
Never stop learning.
never stop learning.
Never stop
No.
enjoying what
Never
you
stop
do.
enjoying.
Because if you do stop enjoying and you're doing just for money, you have to find something else.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, yeah.
It's a very,
because
very
then it becomes
important.
Yeah, it becomes
said.
a chore. You know what I mean? It becomes a chore, and you know, it's like going to work to a job you don't like. It's like, oh, get up in the morning. Everything becomes negative. Oh, going to work. Oh, I can't.
You're
I don't
working to live rather than...
Yeah, yeah. You're working to live rather than.
No, sorry, living to work rather than working to live.
Yeah.
Great, then. I look
And it
forward.
keeps you young as well.
It keeps you young?
Well, if
Think
you're
so?
negative, you see them. You keep
Yeah.
getting lines everywhere. Worry, and it's just like,
Stop worrying.
stop worrying.
That's another advice you gave us here
Yeah.
on Magic Life. So enjoy what you do, because if you don't, you better find something else, another career or something
think,
else
yeah.
to do. Stop. That's a very good advice. Don't read the comments. Never read the comments.
Mate, I tell you what, yeah, the amount of suicides on Instagram from trolls trolling people, and you know, young kids, you know, committing suicide and stuff. It's terrible, mate. It shouldn't happen, man. There should be more regulations, to be honest with you. I don't know why they don't do it. I think it's become so big, social media. They haven't got the...
Correct.
I don't know. I just don't think they've got the technology.
Speaking of that, are you there? Yeah, of course. Do you have a TikTok account?
We have got one, but yeah, we need to use that a bit more, TikTok. But yeah, we mainly use Facebook, which is official E17.
Yeah.
Instagram, official E17. And then we've got our personal
I have to
ones.
tag
Personal
you
ones.
when I'm finished with this interview. I have to tag you. That's why I'm
definitely.
asking, of course.
But yeah, we've got our personal ones, which is Joe Unique Livermore,
yeah.
and Terry Caldwell, and Robbie Craig. Yeah, they're the main ones we use, really. But we do have to use TikTok a bit more, I think.
Yeah, we're going to have to get on it, aren't we? And
Yeah.
sort our YouTube channel out.
But because we do it all ourselves, you know,
You don't have someone
I've got loads of
hired to
kids
do
and
this
by the
thing?
end of the night, I'm like, I don't want to be
You
going
don't,
online.
you don't have someone hired to do this?
No, we do it all ourselves.
You do it yourself?
Yeah, we do
Great,
it all
then.
ourselves.
So yeah, when
Great
you talk
then.
to us, it's talk to us
Yeah,
direct.
yeah. When people talk to us, we do message people back and stuff like that. Yeah, you're talking to us direct.
It's good to
You're
know.
not talking to an AI robot.
I will have to edit this in order not to get all the messages from all over the world. But it's nice, really nice. Okay. And the final issue, topic, it's about, are you guys afraid of this thing with programming and artificial intelligence doing any job in the world? Are you afraid? Of course, you're not a robot.
Yeah.
But, you know, I had one nightmare once that a blonde robot will come on the radio studio and speak like me, but not being me. But it passed. It was just a nightmare. Did you think about this in a way?
Yeah, to be fair, I'm not afraid of it.
Not afraid, okay.
Yeah, because it hasn't, you know, when you start seeing robots walking along the street, then I might be a bit more cautious about it. You know, at the moment, there's no robots walking. And you know, you're just seeing things on videos and online. And I think, totally honest truth, is they always want you to fear stuff. You know, the majority of the media out there want you to fear things. So in a way, I know that as a person. Now, a lot of people don't, you know, but, you know, the news is very fearful, you know. Everything seems to be fear. Let's try and make you more fearful of this and more fearful of that.
Stop the fear.
Yeah, stop the fear. Yeah, stop the fear. Enjoy your life. Yeah, like I said, when robots, I actually see them walking down the road, and maybe you see on the news where it's like walking down the road and it's malfunction with sparks coming out of it, then yeah, I might be a little bit more fearful of them. But yeah, until that day, no, I'm not fearful at the moment.
I think also, like I said earlier, no one can do you better than you. You are you. Anything, there's other imitations, but it ain't you.
Correct.
And you've got to trust, rather than worrying about the future, just trust that in your ability to adapt and overcome.
Do you know what I'm
You'll
more
deal with
fearful
it.
of, to be honest? My kids' future.
I'm sure.
My kids' future, you know, I'm getting a little bit older now. It's what's coming for the next generation, you know what I mean? Especially like my little baby, really. That's what I'm more fearful of.
Of course,
I'm
and
fearful of their
it's
future.
completely understandable.
Not my future, their future. Because there'll
But
be
you just mentioned before that we have to take the good part, the positive part of everything.
We do.
So,
hopefully,
practice.
Yeah.
What you just said.
Right.
If you teach your
We do.
kids this, then
But
they'll,
you know,
they
I'm
will
not
deal
one.
with it
I'm
themselves.
I'm not one of these ones. I've never dwelled on it, but you know, there's a thought there. You know, I wonder what it's going to be like for them because of all the technological advances that are going on.
Wait and
That's
see.
fear of the unknown.
Pray to
Yeah,
be-
You know?
it's fear of the unknown.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but you'll get there and deal with it.
I try and keep positive about everything.
I'm so happy.
Because that's all we've got.
That's all we have.
That's all we have, really.
We
you know
have
what
to
I mean?
choose to be negative
And if
to worry.
everyone's positive with everyone else, then there's going to be a lot more happiness going on in the world, and
Hopefully.
that's simple. Yeah, hopefully, yeah.
Hopefully. Thank you. You were absolutely amazing.
Thanks for having us,
Honest.
man.
We've loved
Honest.
it.
I
Loved it.
loved it.
I've loved it.
So
Thank you.
I've heard so many things. I would like to. Aș vrea să recapitulez în românește, îmi cer iertare. I will translate, I will say it in Romanian, because my viewers mainly
Yeah, that's
are
okay.
all of them from our country. Am aflat că, da, e prea multă frică și cred că frica asta este ultima parte a interviului, este cumva întreținută. Singura frică pe care o are Terry în momentul ăsta e mai degrabă despre viitorul copiilor. Dar dacă gândești pozitiv, dacă alegi partea plină, și foarte frumos a spus Joe la un moment dat, ești cea mai bună versiune a ta, nimeni nu poate fi tu. Deci bucură-te de ceea ce ești în acest moment. Oricine va încerca să fie ca tine, va fi o copie. Vă mulțumesc tare mult că vă uitați la Magic Life. Hai acolo cu un click pentru a fi informați când apare următorul episod. Abonați-vă la canalul nostru de YouTube Magic Life. Le mulțumesc din suflet oamenilor ăstora, sunt absolut spectaculoși. Urmăriți-i și pe East 17, un zip code, așa mi-au spus, care, iată, au deja 30 și ceva ani de activitate și nu se opresc, pentru că muzica nu e un hobby, muzica este o stare. Vă mulțumesc tare mult. I just said that music, it's not a hobby. Music, it's a feeling. It's an emotion. And you can't change it.
No,
and
you
you
can't.
do it
You
for
can't.
you can't fake it.
No, you can't. You cannot fake music. Yeah, you know, for us, I think it's the whole. We're going in the studio on Monday, all week to write hopefully 5 or 6 songs.
We look forward to hear it.
But, yeah.
Maybe to play it.
Yeah. You'll hear the new one tonight.
I look forward to
Mate,
hear that.
it's a good feel-good song. It's a feel-good song.
Yeah.
Like all of you.
Make you feel good. Yeah, make you
All of
feel
your
good,
songs
man.
are making me feel
thank
like
you.
in the 90s when I was younger, less worries.
When we was all younger.
Yeah, we were all like that. Thank you guys so much.
Thank you. Thanks for having us.
Thank you.
Cheers. Thank you.
you.